Frequency wise,
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's study session. So we're going to continue on our range interaction series. We're going to spend the next couple of weeks looking at leading from out of position when someone flats behind you. I have a friend who sent me this idea today. And so when we're the aggressor and we open from a position and someone flats behind us and is going to play in position against us, the idea is that we're going to have some leads on some boards. If we take a look at early position versus button, the most extreme end, we have a pretty high lead frequency. If we look at the cutoff versus the button, where the ranges are going to be very similar, we have a very low lead frequency. And the difference between the positions is a scale between this idea of 49% and this idea of 24%. And we're going to explore that over the next couple of weeks and take a look at this concept. So today, we have our little situation set up where we're going to play from under the gun 1 against the button who flats. This is all going to be post-flop work, so we're going to get here with a reasonable range construction. As you can see, I'm in the middle of practicing one hand. We have checked 3 streets, and away we go. We will dive into a little bit of theory here and a little bit of reports before we get started on some drilling work and look at a few concepts. So, under the gun 1, when it comes to flops, we are going to go through and take a look at kind of what our range construction is going to look like, because we know that we're going to get some leads and we're going to get a fairly healthy amount of leads. But why are we going to lead? What are we going to lead? How high are we going to lead? How big are we going to lead? So we can see, as with most paired boards, there's going to be some small betting with aces. When we have ace with a king, we can see that we are checking half the time and we are betting mixed between small betting frequently on rainbow boards and sizing up on flush draw boards, decreasing our betting frequency a little bit. That's going to be one of the themes here. Rainbow boards, we're going to have more bets and smaller bets. Flush draw boards, we're going to have less bets and bigger bets. As we look through the ace queens, we're going to see a very similar type of thing. If we look at ace queen 5 rainbow, we again see smaller bets, more frequent. Ace queen 5 with a flush draw, slightly bigger bets, less frequent. So one key concept is flush draw boards drive up our checking frequency. Why? Because our opponents flat lots of flush draw hands. Again, 2 Broadway boards, we do see a pretty heavy polar component here, betting half pot, 83% pot, and over pot as well. So we are going to have a pretty healthy big bet strategy on any 2 cards that are going to be in the Broadway range. As we see, our ace with low cards, infrequent and small, lacking the support cards that really generate the meat of our range. King high boards, of course, king is the best for us. So we are going to have a much more range-oriented strategy. Paired king boards, of course, tons of that range betting. King with a queen, we now see a much more prevalent range betting strategy with kings. Again, we see king queen 6 rainbow, much more range oriented. King queen 6 with a flush draw, a little less range oriented. So again, even our kings are a little more weary of the flush draw boards. As the cards get closer and closer to the middle of the range, we start to see the overbet size starting to become more prevalent. Our range is going to have a whole heck of a lot of this as the board starts to get compressed like this. Once we start getting down into king 7-5, again, we see less polarization, more small range betting. Rainbow boards, now we size up on these boards. We have a more polar strategy because we are more reliant on generating value for these kings. Our opponent's going to have more pairs that they're going to be continuing with, and we're going to want to get value before the board changes in their favor. Our queen boards, again, queen jack connected, lots of larger sizing. And as we start to drop lower and lower, queen 7 becoming small bets or oriented. Again, our rainbow boards like the bigger bets with a single big card. Jack 10 boards, of course, we have lots of really big betting in these type of spots. We've seen this lots of times before. Our betting frequency is down though on these jack high boards, below 50%. 10 high boards, we see just a slew of betting here, and particularly in big figures. 10-10 boards, they have a lot of suited 10s. They're going to be raising us just below, right? It's the bottom of our offsuit range that we're going to have. So this is kind of the bottom of our range that we're going to be around with. So these 10 high boards tend to be very good for us when we get flatted. But they're also very vulnerable for us, right? So our 10s do want to take big sizing. We're also going to have lots of hands that need protection here. Pocket jacks and pocket queens, and we're going to have bluffs that mirror that with some jack queen. As we start to drop below the 10s and the 9s, we can see that our betting frequency really drops down, right? To when we get to 8 high boards and lower, we're looking at about a 25% bet frequency. And so playing a heavy check strategy on, 8s and lower is very reasonable. 9s and 10s are going to connect to the bottom of our range, and we're going to have 2 overcards. We're going to have the top end straight draw. We're going to have lots of good opportunities on 10 and 9 boards. So that was a little bit of quick theory work. We will dive into
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Can you sort by our B83, our big bet? I'm curious if we can see any kind of pattern. Because I miss those bets a lot. So
looking for this purple bet, right? Again, we see 10 high rainbow, 8 high rainbow, 9 high rainbow. So this is going to be flops, and we'll take a look at a specific example here for you. On 9-3-2. So our opponent who flats us is going to lack the very bottom of range. So when we look at the buttons calling range, they're just not here with 3s and 2s. And so they lack a lot of coverage here. So they also are going to 3-bet some 10s. They're 3-betting some ace 10s, some king 10s. They're folding queen 10 and jack 10 prevalently, right? They're 3-betting jack 10 here. They're 3-betting pocket 10s. So they just aren't going to have a lot of 10s naturally in range. And so if we look at their range construction idea and why we have this kind of driven up GTO Wizard is freezing out on me here for some weird reason. Okay. Well, if we took a look at range construction, we would see that we are going to have a pretty big nut advantage here on these type of boards. And it's just going to be based on range construction. You can see our opponent's really going to struggle to connect with this board.
Yeah, he really doesn't have that many offsuit 10s.
Yeah, excuse me one sec. I'm going to take a look and see if I can get GTO Wizard to reload. Okay. Fair. Okay. It looks like we might be having some technical troubles here.
Just close the app and reopen it.
Sure, one sec.
Since Louis is here, he broke it again.
I had the same problem this morning.
Yeah.
One thumb just froze. And it never does that.
All right.
Yeah, you may want to close this.
So yeah, if you just close this and then reopen it immediately, you should. Oh,
Yeah. Here we go. We're back in business.
Hmm.
So as I was saying, we were looking at 10-3-2 as a board. So we'll paint that in here. And clear all. 10-3-2. And when we take a look at ranges, under the gun, 53% equity, 20% best hands, 35% good hands, and 16% trash, compared to 29% trash, 9% best hands, and 28% good hands, right? Like all across the range, we're really just smoking them, except for this little block, which is sets of twos and sets of threes. Right? When we have aces and they have twos, that's really the only part of the tree where they're going to have an advantage.
Yes, we've got range and nut advantage here.
Yeah, so like this board is just going to be really hard for them to defend, especially rainbow, because they have no flush draws to defend except for backdoors, and they have no range connectivity except for some a few tens that are represented in range. So we're just going to press that and take a really big bet size here, right? Because out of position, we want to kind of take this opportunity while we're really far ahead to leverage our bet. But the idea, when we give it a bet that's this big, 83%, and our opponent calls, and we get a nice little 7 of clubs brick, right? We can now see the equity has swung because the trash bins have been emptied, right? And this is an idea, like every time you bet and your opponent calls, their trash bin gets emptied of a bunch of the refuse, and you still have all your trash. So we're still driving the boat with all the best hands here, but it's no longer good enough to compete with the fact that we're also bloated with our trash here. So
Nice metaphor.
yeah. All right. Glad it worked. So yeah, so we'll do a little bit of solver work, and as it comes up, let us know and we can investigate some specific spots if you guys are interested. Queen 8-6, 3 cards in the middle of the range, single high card, couple of low medium cards. How often do you want to lead pocket threes, or do you want to lead them ever? I know
Just
me.
Probably
open,
never.
open, throw your hand in the muck.
All right.
I mean, yeah, there's so much in his range that can continue on this flow.
Yeah. So remember, our
Draws
opponents are going to
plenty.
lack the top and they're going to lack the bottom. So this is just going to really fit well with their range. And so betting out of position with this hand is really going to struggle with its ability to make chips.
Opponents are naked. Got it.
Check, check. Ace. All right. Card that is good for our range. Lockwood, check, check.
I mean, we can construct a 2-street bluff here with a card that's good for us from the very bottom of our range. And I think solver, on occasion, does turn these bottom pairs into bluffs, but I don't know how much it does it out of position.
Okay. So our opponent is going to have some spades, lots of straight draws, and a fair amount of pairs here.
And
If
they
you're
might
given-
even check back ace high as well too, so.
For sure.
I don't know if this is a hand that we're gonna wanna bluff, right? Cuz we're gonna have to use a big sizing, I think, right? With all the draws that could be there.
Well, we're under the gun. We have all the best aces and all the best men. And we check a lot of queens too. So we're here with a pretty protected range. Anyone want to go 55?
I'll go 33.
All right. So let me put it this way to you. If you're in position with a flush draw or a straight draw and I bet 33% into you, are you ever folding?
No.
Never. I'm almost thinking it would probably be
Yeah.
betting 60 or 83% or checking.
Yeah, I think there's
But
going to be a lot of
if
checks.
if
But I think we're gonna be checking a lot on this ace too, right? Cuz we're still
Mhm.
technically uncapped.
Yep. So let's take a
I
peek.
think we're betting a lot.
Oh,
I'm
Oh,
betting,
just small
Steve's got
bets.
it. Bet and
Yeah,
bet
bet.
small.
We can still bluff river, right?
Yeah.
If it
yeah,
goes
that's
check,
the
check.
plan. I was about to say I bet, and then depending on river, I probably can bluff.
No,
All
I
right.
just wanna one street bluff the river. If we
Let's
get the
take a peek.
chance.
We'll give it a poke and we'll see what we get. Oh, completes, lots of draws, can give some pairs, some two pairs. We don't have a spade. All right, Said, how big did you want to go with your two street river bluff? Or is this just a give up?
7.
Okay,
Yeah.
good choice. Pure bet. And we get him to fold the best unpaired hand. Okay, pretty reasonable. So let's take a look at a bit of the strategy here. So on this flop, flush draw board with a queen, checking 58% of the time, betting small 25% of the time, betting big 15% of the time. Right? We have some hands, kings, aces, ace, queen, that are obviously going for big value at high frequency, even king, queen. So we get to have some bluffs that go along with that, but because there is a straight draw that we interact with here, we can see that it's choosing king 9, king 10, jack 10, 10 9 to kind of mirror these value hands here. So it doesn't really need to use these bottom pairs very much. It does deuces with the spade a little bit, and it does threes with a spade, but never without flush interaction. One thing that we're going to see on these type of flush draw boards, king 10, look at this, driven by a flush blocker, right? All of these garbage bluffs, everything else wants to check back largely, but these ones want to bluff and bluff big. All you single spadies, all you single spadies. All right. And very similar one. Two high cards towards the bottom of range. Check or bet.
I think this one's gonna be a high frequency bet for us. Just with the two broadways and rainbows, so probably a 33 to a half pot.
I
Probably a
think
half pot.
20%, 1.4.
I don't see the reason to bet with sixes.
Okay. So
Check.
remember rainbow boards, we bet more frequently with smaller sizes. Flush draw
Yeah.
boards were more polar. So maybe it's going to have some smaller size, but I think it's going to have a lot of check as well. Some smaller size and a lot of check. So small is good here.
1.4.
Even with the dribbler size. Our opponent calls. King, best
Mr.
card for our
Lawyer.
range. But our opponent has
yeah.
emptied the trash bucket. They have a lot of aces. Are we going to barrel this card?
Yes.
All right, Vince, how big?
55%, 6.5.
Okay.
Or checking. I think it's mixing.
I'm ready to give up. This card is terrible.
But yeah, see, checking.
A little
even
bit bigger. Yeah.
Oh, even bigger. My bad.
Yeah, bigger wins.
So when we take a look at the entirety of range here, we're going to take a look. Now, remember, they've emptied their trash bucket, but we are still here with some heavy value hands. So 2 pair, 2 pair, 2 pair, 2 pair, 2 pair, 2 pair, straight, straight. So all of this 2 pair and straight is going for big value. So our bluffs are going to come from the incomplete side of that. So instead of queen 10 for this, we're going to use queen 9, queen 8, 10 9, 10 8, jack 9, jack 8, right? So we want to have straight interaction here. You can see that jack 9, jack 8 are particularly afflicted with diamonds here. These single card ones are again choosing a diamond. So it's very clear there is a high preference to have a diamond in your hand, particularly on your offsuit side. So when we do choose it, it's going to do that. And as we can see, 2s, 3s, 4s all want a diamond in their hand. 6s want a diamond in their hand. So do we have a diamond in our hand? We have a diamond in our hand. We get to bluff. And pocket 3s. Ace jack 5 calls pocket 3s. Man, that guy's sticky.
Hmm.
All right. Ace king 7. Crushing board for us. Check or bet this hand.
I think we bet it. I think a B33.
That's small.
That's gonna be the bet small again.
Yeah, 33.
Recently I go,
Even
I was
smaller.
about to say, I started to go really small,
Mm-hmm.
20%, 10%.
Our opponent has the gall to raise us on a board containing an ace and a king. Is this just an auto fold for everyone else in town?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Click him back.
Like him back, punt it off.
Punt it
Punt
off.
it off.
Yeah. The best flat, blessed flat, right? Goes for a raise. So monotone board. We haven't taken a look at this yet. Right. We got all the big spades. Is this a check?
I think it's a check.
Check.
This is a check. Occasionally a very small bet. So let's take a look at the idea here. It's going to be hard to bet small and price our opponent out with a spade. So we do have some micro betting because we have some flushes that want to bet this high, right? Some spades that want to bet this high. Pretty much a lot of our range is wanting to choose this size. A fairly high frequency. So you can see a slight preference for the 9s and the 10s. Makes sense. A lot of stuff like that wants to get some bets in. Aces, mostly checking unless you have a spade. And single spades, occasionally sizing up, frequently betting. But we get a check here. Check, check.
No,
Oh,
it didn't check.
all right. against this size, can we let go with ace jack no spade, or do we have to continue?
One time.
I think we have to call to that sizing.
Yeah.
One time. All right. One time. You're right, but it's pretty thin.
The solver's already not liking it.
Not liking it. Okay, queen. Better for our
Check.
range. Not good for our hand. All right, all right. The gig's up, right?
That was just one time.
Just one time.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh, we called them ahead and we folded when we were behind. We're like the best at poker. I don't know if we need to even do the trainer anymore.
I wonder if
Maybe
we get some check raises here. I mean, this is a high check board, I think.
not.
I think
9 with 2 low cards. This is going to be one of those ones. We're going to have some big bets. Is it going to be with the spade or without a spade?
I think we'd bet more with a spade.
Okay.
I think we big bet with no spade more.
Okay. I like a check here, but we're going to take a look and see, and then we'll examine the range a little more. So as Viv was saying, it really likes a big bet if you're going to go for a bet here. So on this, a 9 low with a flush draw. Close this. Are we having problems again here? Log into the lizard. Yes. And
The wizard's on strike today.
yep. All right, so we're back here. We got our board. Away we go. As we can see, hands that need more protection are betting more often. Jacks, queens, tens, kings. Aces, not so much. And spade slightly prefers a bet. The offsuit ones slightly prefer more checking. So, glad we checked here. And our opponents check back. King, best card for our range. Double flush draw board. What
I wonder
do
if we get
want to
some B50s here and maybe even B83.
probably,
I
yeah,
go,
I wanna
yeah,
go
83.
83 or even a 125.
Also, it's a double flush draw board, which I think increases our sizing. But I'm not sure about a position, so yeah, maybe a B83.
Okay. So this size, our opponent's going to call a flush draw. This size, our opponent's going to call a combo draw or a flush draw with a pair. What is an opponent going to call with this size?
Set.
A king?
King.
2 pair.
King, 2 pair. So only made hands that when the flush comes
Yeah.
is going to be hard for them.
A good king.
Yeah.
I could even see someone calling with a flush draw for a
Wow,
pot, a
even
little bit
goes
over pot,
bigger.
right?
Yeah.
2x.
I would have bet too small here.
I think it depends on stack depth. I'm not really sure at 40 bigs. But if you're like at 100 bigs, yes, for sure.
A pair set.
It's an implied odds question.
Yeah, I don't know that opponents are checking back a lot of sets, but yeah, we are sizing up. So half our range is checking, 20% betting small, 30% betting big, pretty well represented across all the sides, and aces are going for value. When you have the ace of spades, particularly, it loves it. It's ace of spades, ace of hearts, best combo to go for big value. Blocking both of the opponent's completed draws most frequently. And 2x pot folds pocket eights. All right. Ace low. Very
Mostly
small.
check or small.
I think we get bets here because the 5s and 4s, I think, mostly miss their range. So I would be 33 here.
okay. Anyone in camp check back with our third best unpaired hand?
Yeah, this particular hand, I'm probably checking back, just checking.
Okay.
Betting is
checking on
small.
both. Just pure check back.
Shaping. Ooh,
So again, king 10 with a spade. Maybe that's when is going to bet a lot more. We'll take a quick look at that. Wants greedy aces. King 10. Again, flush interaction, key. So from out of position, one of the ideas of betting from out of position, like when we did the big blind check raising, right? We're always trying to check raise with equity. So here, this is a bit naked. We don't really have front door equity here, right? So if we had the spade, we would have a little more equity. So against a pretty polarized bet. Check
Yeah,
or
we don't-
fold.
Yeah, I don't think we can continue. We don't really have any
yeah.
front door equity.
Ace king.
You just flatted us too on the button.
That's
Sneaky.
right. Against under the gun one, you better flat ace king and pocket queen sometimes, because if you always 3-bet these, your range is going to be paper mache when you call. You know who I'm talking to in the study session today. All right. Ace, queen, jack. We annihilate this board with our range. We're going to have a massive range advantage. Does this hand want to bet or check?
Well, if we have a big range advantage, we're probably gonna want to bet, right? So,
Yep.
Plus now we got some flush interaction. So
yeah.
All right.
this, I mean,
Bet
this
tiny.
kind of smashes their.
Probably gonna be a
fold.
a small
bet.
bet.
Small bet. Small.
Small bet.
Okay.
Small
Tiny
bet mostly.
tiny.
Micro bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, tiny bit of check back. Our opponent gives it a call. We don't turn improved equity. Do we continue? Do we check back?
Small.
I think we give up.
We either
We might
polarize or
continue
check.
some of the wheel ones though.
Okay. Let's take a look at the range advantage here.
This
So
is on
what
turn,
they have
right?
called. So here, early on, 57% equity, twice as good big hands, more good hands, even more weak hands, just a big trash bin. We bet, they call. What happens? We balance out. We still have all the best hands, but they're getting much closer with the good hands. They have more weak hands. We have more trash. So the range is starting to get better for them, but the nut advantage is still there for us.
Yeah, so I guess if we are betting, we're gonna probably have to polarize.
All right, so is this one going to do it? Or is this one going to check back?
It's probably gonna mix between like a B83 or B125 and check.
Okay.
In this particular
This one's
combo,
probably
I
gonna-
think is probably gonna,
Probably just gonna check here, this one.
but the two also didn't improve any of his draws. So
That's
I
right.
think
Do
we're
it
gonna
with
have
ace
some
three.
polarizing bets.
Ace three and ace four.
Lots of checking. A little bit of small bet. Pretty bricky on that river. Do we go for a bluff here? Do we just check back ace high?
Yeah,
Pot.
at this point, as played, I think we're probably just checking.
Okay.
Cause I don't think we're gonna get him to fold a queen or a king. We didn't
Yeah.
polarize on the turn. Right, so, yeah,
It's pretty.
I agree.
Okay, I was just gonna say it's pretty thin, but like we could potentially get some jacks to fold and an ace 8, ace 9 suited.
Sure. We could definitely get ace high to fold.
Yeah, no, ace nine it. I said, or is that what you said?
Yeah, ace high. We
Yeah,
could get
like, we
better
get-
ace highs to fold.
There's not many better ace highs, but there's a couple.
Yep. We might get, you know, one pair hands like sixes to fold here.
Or we get a few chops to fold too, like the ace five will fold.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay, we'll fold. Yeah, makes sense.
If we bet on the turn,
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
let's see our turn strategy.
yeah,
Look
if
at
we
this
bet on
hero
the
check.
turn,
Look at this hero check back ace king on that turn.
yeah.
Like a champ.
I think if we bet on the turn, then we polarize on the
Alright.
river.
So our turn strategy. So we are bluffing with tens and we're straight, of course. Straight. We are still betting big with lots of these two pair combos.
Pairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of bluffing with ace queen, I feel. Right? Because we're checking back a ton of small kings. We
And
are
then-
bluffing all these aces. All these aces are spades. And then some small pairs with a spade.
Yeah, that makes sense that we're going huge. We hit our set of twos.
Jack 10 with a spade.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Double snowman. Ace board. Ace low low.
Tiny.
I would like to bet half pot with the eights here and cooler his pair of sevens.
So how big did you want to bet? Half pot, you
Half
said?
pot here, yeah. Blocking, having a spade, and then a pair
Okay.
bigger than the seven.
Okay. I think I'm checking back here a lot, but let's take a peek.
Nope,
Mm,
I'm
Just
punching.
checking back a lot.
Yeah, just checking.
Yeah. So when we look at these ace high boards, right? Ace with a flush draw, right, is going to drive down the frequency that we want to bet. Right?
Yeah,
Because
'cause-
our opponent's going to have lots of natural continues with flush draws that we're just going to have a hard time pricing out. So 8 with a spade does bet, but it chooses the smaller size, right? There's just not a lot of polarization on this board. When we take a look at the ranges on ace high board, these equities run really close, right? Remember, they're lacking aces and ace king, but they still have all the rest of the aces that we do. Not quite at the frequency we do, because we have them all at full frequency. They 3-bet them sometimes. So we have a slightly more of them, but not great here, right? Trash, we have slightly more trash, slightly more good hands, and slightly more best hands, but it's not an overwhelming equity advantage here. So we're just going to want to put in a little bit of money and see how it goes, but not with pocket eights. Check, check. Queen.
I think we just try to navigate the showdown with our, and
Sure.
realize our equity.
We have lots of queens in range here. We have some aces still.
Yeah. Card we're gonna bet pretty polar on, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we're 2/3 of the way. Do we just check back and hope to get there?
Do we ever
Yeah.
block now or?
Or
Maybe
go
we do
for
just check.
thin value? Get
One
called by
point five?
Ooh,
No.
Nah,
that is razor thin.
it's not terrible.
It's not
It's
terrible,
not-
but
No, it's plus
yeah,
EV,
EV is basically the same, but
but yeah.
it was
Oh,
2.13.
checks 2 streets and give us a big bet.
I'm snapping, but I'm a fish, so I just,
All right.
yeah.
So what part of, does he have any value that would? So he would have to be trapping a queen here. Or
Yeah.
going for super thin value. Well, there's,
Have ace deuce,
Ace deuce,
Quite-
yeah.
um,
Sure.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't bet his
maybe like
ace
king,
until
king,
river.
queen.
We saw him check back ace king on the turn before, right? So
I think that, I don't see where his value is emanating from.
all right, we'll
That-
take a look at this
Lots
after
of
we
missed spades are gonna.
after
I
we
think
get
this
the
is a
fish
call.
hook in our mouth.
It's a call, yeah.
Ooh, it's a pretty thin call.
I'll take my 0.03.
Ace
Wow.
one.
He did check back.
Wow.
Sneaky
Oh,
bastard.
wow.
So let's take a look at his flop strategy. So when someone under the gun bets, you get an ace high board. They check to you. You check most of your aces. Right? Your best aces bet for value. And the rest of them really want to check. And then the turn goes check. And what do our aces do? In position, the best ones go big, the smallest ones check now. So now we become polarized. And so when we get bigger bets, we get a bigger checking range. And so we still have to protect our range with some aces. And so yeah, he's still here with ace 8, ace 7, ace 9, ace 6, ace 4, right? At some frequency, ace 10 off. So yeah, like our opponents should, and not a lot of opponents do, protect their checking range. And then check. And then on the river, all the aces go for it. Right? And even the best queens are now going for it. So, yep. So that's kind of what
Still
our
call.
opponent is going to do here. Yeah. All right. 9-8, Jack 3-3. 3, not going to be a component of our opponent's range. Jack, really strong card for us. Backdoor flush has a little equity. Straight interaction has a little equity. What are we going to do with this 9-8?
I'd lead a third pot.
Third pot. Flush draw board drives down our frequency, drives up our bet size.
If I check, I'm gonna check raise.
You want to check raise a 3 straight 3 flush? Ooh, 3 street bluff coming up from Saeed. Yeah,
Just
1/3
bet.
pot, small butt, or
And
Saeed
being
strategy.
an
Let's see if we can
animal.
get it there. All right, he gives us 60% pot.
Not to that
How much
size.
you raising, Saeed?
I still sometimes I click it.
8.8, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Danger, danger.
No, the size was big, so never mind.
There was a lot of red triangles on that screen.
Yeah. So let's take a look. Like our range is going to have a lot of continues here. Is the
King,
backdoor
queen.
flush ever going to be able to continue?
King, queen
Probably
with-
not the
with
9 high
1
one.
Spade might do this.
We probably want an overcard or two.
Ace 10 does. King 10 does a bit. Queen 10 does. 10-9 does not. Yeah. Queen 10. A little bit with a spade. Yeah, it's really choosing a spade. Right, is what's driving the bus. If our opponent chooses the smaller size, can we get out of line here with 89?
No. Oh,
We're
it is.
still not there. But now we're in here
Just
with
that small on flop, yeah.
Yeah.
we're a little more with a single overcard, right? Like now it's in here with King 8 of hearts and King 9 of hearts.
Okay, that's
Yeah, we want the overcard. We want to be able to turn a better top pair.
true.
Yeah, Queen 8, the worst hand that we get here with is what it's going to choose to bluff with. So yeah, like you weren't wrong with the idea, but like it's just going to be tough against the
Overcard, yeah.
right? When they keep going further and further down, like when they bet smaller and smaller, now 9-8 gets in here a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The overcard, the ability to make a new top pair then the backdoor flush with the straight interaction, right? The cumulative effect of more and more ways to get equity in the hand allows us to continue.
So
Pete,
Yep,
quick question. If you could just go back to that screen for a moment.
sure.
Just a bit of a range construction question, I suppose.
Mhm.
We don't have a lot of check raise bluffs because we don't have a lot of check raise value. So, because we're always trying to balance our range, right? And because we don't have many check raises
Yep.
in terms of value, that's why it's only like ace four suited, ace two suited, some king queen, and that's about it.
And some single spades.
Some
Right?
single spades, yeah.
I think it has to do with the sizing here.
Yeah.
right,
That's big, so we raise left softly.
Yeah. As we saw when we kind of drove down the sizing, we got a little more shenanigans and they started to come in more prevalently here, right? Now we're check raising 14% of the time. Right. Was when they use the big sizing, all of a sudden all the big check raises go away and we're down to 9-10% of the time, right? So we lose a third of our check raises when they choose the bigger sizing. And then when they choose the micro sizing, we're going to get in here with all kinds of shenanigans, right?
Oh,
5 and 9 and 2, right? Like we're in here with 17% check raises. So,
but with the opponent's bet size on flop, if we are going to check raise bluff, we have to choose our bluffs carefully.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
our
double one
bluffs,
card, yeah.
our bluffs want to have more equity then. And so they want to, against the really big size, they become 2 overcards and a spade and a backdoor straight draw, right? So ace queen with a spade, right, is what's going to want to do it, right? Ace 10 with a spade, right? Ace king with a spade. So, all right, out of here. Let's go for another one. Paired board nines. So one of the things that our opponent is going to do is they're going to target the bottom of our offsuit range, which our offsuit range construction is going to be tens and jacks on the offsuit side. So they're going to use a lot of nines. So when they get here in a single raise pot, their range construction is actually going to lack nines.
Yeah, so if we were to look at this, we would have a trip advantage here.
A very small one, because we don't open offsuit nines either, though, except for ace 9, right? So. But we do have all the suited nines that we're going to have, and they have less of them because they're going to use them to 3-bet us, right, at some frequency. So it is primarily
Mix some
betting.
bets in there.
Yeah, so you certainly can check this hand. Again, like this, I think this is going to be a check call as opposed to a check raise because it doesn't have a spade. So I'm surprised that it is actually betting this frequently, but it's a.
No, I think
it's
you have to check
effective.
fold.
I wonder if there's a blocker effect because we're blocking all the
Yeah.
I
cards
mean,
around the
don't we
nine
open
X.
lots of suited nines and we have around the same number of nines, right? And then, but we have better overpairs. I
I
mean,
mean, like, if we check, I think we check fold.
We'll take a peek. Investigate that line.
It is very hard
mean,
for the button to
yeah.
have the 9 of diamonds.
no, you check.
Yep. All right, so it goes check, check. We're not going to win with 10 high.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can construct a 2-street bluff here if we want. So like
Okay.
a B33 and then a big bet on the right river.
Okay. Definitely, but it's picking all the bigger sizings when it
Very big
bets.
one, yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
guess, because I guess if we were gonna be check raising some of our overpairs, we'd wanna get value for them on the turn, right?
Yep. So we're going to choose a slightly bigger bet just to be more in the game tree. Opponent calls. Ooh, ace of diamonds. Our opponent's going to have some aces. I don't know that we're betting a lot of aces on the turn. I think this is probably just going to go small, try and target the auto folds. We didn't go too big before. We went half pot.
What did they get here with that doesn't contain a 9 or an ace?
Spades.
Spades,
So yeah, it's just targeting a flush draw fold.
Yeah,
too much.
which is why I think we can go small here,
Okay.
right? We're not trying to get pocket eights to fold. We're trying to get king jack of spades to fold,
Right.
king queen of spades to fold.
Mm,
All
lean,
All
about 5%.
right.
Actually, Pete, just as a concept, like, could this be a better hand to check raise?
Well, let's explore that node, see if he bets. Okay.
Okay.
Pocket
Yeah, and
five.
then
But yeah, we'll put it in here and we'll take a look at the solve and see if it's gonna go if it's gonna take the football the whole distance here. So when we check, let's take a look at our opponent's betting strategy, pick a common size for them. So they have lots of bets for 57%, a few for 12. So let's take their lesser value size. They're mixing both nines, are choosing this size. So let's go 57%. And then 10-8, not punting.
just
So,
okay.
yeah,
No, just
it's
pure
not
fold.
choosing that combo. It's choosing king 7, king queen. So,
Huh.
yeah, but I mean, he's definitely going to fold pocket fives if we put any more chips in this pot. So it would have worked, but it's not great. All right, Jack, good for us. Flush gets down our frequency, ups our size. Pocket tens, not happy about this flop. Check
2.35, I bet.
Okay.
Do we bet
like
more
it.
with or without the spade here?
With the spade,
Wait, I think, yeah.
right? More equity out of position, always wants to bet more often. Well, most frequently wants to bet more
Mostly
often.
check, but
Mostly check, but we could definitely get behind a bet here. It's well represented a third of the time. All right. That's not good for us.
he doesn't have much 5. He has ace 5,
A
5,
little
6,
5-4,
maybe.
5-6. Oh, a double dribbler. I am not finding that bet. Let's take a look at some range construction on that. See how far down the rabbit hole it's going.
Probably because he's got lots of flush draws, maybe.
Yeah, it's betting
And
all of them.
He might have
But,
called us with 9s or 8s.
Yeah, I guess he has suited 7s here. He has some
Oh,
suited 7s. But yeah, like he has 6-5 and 5-4 here too.
no, he didn't have 6-5. Oh, he has. Yeah, he has, yeah.
Yeah, a little king 5 too.
Yeah.
All right, check. All right, flush completes. Another bad thing for us. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow, bet.
Oof. It wants to go big.
Solver has gone YOLO.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
there's
know
only
about
the
that.
one big spade on board too, right? So we could have checked. Flush draw.
Okay, he calls with the 7.
Bottom.
No spade. Okay, so when the turn goes check, check, you get to go greedy with 10s here.
Because he should be betting his jacks.
Mm-hmm.
And probably his flush, maybe his flush draws as well too.
When we check, how many jacks is he betting? He's betting ace jack, king jack, mostly queen jack, jack 10. Yeah, he's mostly betting his jacks. So when he checks back, he loses a lot of his jack range. And he's checking a lot of sevens. So I'm checking some 3s and 4s and 6s as well. So yeah, it's targeting the thin part of the deck here.
And his ace highs, are those the flush draws he's betting? A lot of them? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess
So-
that takes away some of his flushes.
Okay. Queen, Jack. Gonna have some big bets on this board. Are we gonna bet big with this hand or are we going to check?
I think we often will check here.
We get behind a very frequent check with this hand. But Solver knows this is just a really strong board for us. And it says even our
Just
second
tiny
pair,
more.
I would have preferred to have the
30%.
jack of clubs over the heart.
yeah. Even the second pair is showing up with a really strong EV here.
All right, that's kind of a good card. It reduces his trap, his sets, and got marginal value. Yeah, I think we can. But
I
if we
think we-
value bet, can we sustain it for 2 streets?
I mean,
I like the 5.9.
okay.
Nope. Small.
No,
Check it. I guess
check.
after we
Marginal
check flop,
value.
I don't think we can really lead on that card, right? Cause he's
So,
probably has the nut advantage. He's gonna have a lot more fives
okay.
than us, right? He's not gonna be betting his fives.
So our EV went up, but checking is now the best option because we're going to induce more bluffs here now, right? Like he has to bluff more often.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And he can do it because the 5 is good for him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are we going to get back in? Let me see what I can get here. Oh. All right, it's too bad. We might have to go and build that out spot out. Does anyone remember the shenanigans that happened? It was a single raise pot, and the flop was queen. Oops.
Queen, jack, 5. I think the
Queen, jack,
queen and the
5.
5 for the flush draw.
Okay, and we had ace jack, and it went check, check, and 5 of diamonds.
Yeah.
All right, and now we check, and our opponent's going to be very polar here. 83 or 125 only. So we'll give them the 83 size. And we are going to have a very easy bluff catch with this jack. Right? Yeah. Jack's pure bluff catching. And let's look at a brick flush completer. So some of his bluffs are going to get here now. How thin? No bets for us. Our opponent is going to blast. 83% again. 15 bigs. Are we calling off second pair better than board kicker? Mixing.
Always with a spade, I think is the answer.
Always
here.
with the spade. Yeah. So blocking value is the determining factor. Ace king, ace high with a spade. Ooh, savage. All right. Let's get back in. Do a couple more here. All right, we finally get another great board for us. A silver metal hand. Check back or bet?
Tiny.
Tiny. Good stuff. Definitely could check back here, but small is the way to go. We get raised by our opponent. Surely we're not gonna
Oh.
fold their best king here.
Oh,
Oh, we
man.
use such a disrespectful size though, too, right?
That's right. Our
we
We
have
can't
disrespectful
play a
side
game of tiny bet war.
did open the can of worms for this.
Yeah, I think we have to call with second pair here. Oh, it wants us to.
Well,
do
Dude,
it
I was
sometimes.
literally about to joke about clicking again.
See,
it's
that
actually there this
works.
time.
Let's get in there. Click war. Call.
This is
Ooh.
Brazil versus Brazil violence right now.
All right.
We have a
20% pot.
flop 3-bet.
I think
I don't
after we
even
click
know
back,
what's
I think we
happening
probably
win
have
the
to bet
game, I
here.
go 5. But
So
I
our
don't think it's
SPRs, the
GTO.
SPR is 1, so we're all of a sudden with an SPR of 1 and second pair. I think we might check here.
Okay. But I
We
mean,
gotta
He's
keep
gonna,
bluffing.
he's,
Click
I think
it.
since we clicked it back, I think if we have to keep. Cause we check here, you can just jam with almost anything, right?
we
Well,
were
we have
the
showdown.
okay.
Check.
Are we giving up?
I'm
down to
check
give up.
raising.
Not
really
I'm
giving
check
up.
raising again.
Realizing our
Yeah, we're
equity.
giving up.
Check.
Oh, he
check.
checks back.
Flush
Uh,
completes.
So that's a really bad card because
that was a horrible card.
but
Check and lose.
it's interesting with ace and king of spade on board because that blocks a
Blocking.
lot of his block.
Oh, no block.
Checks back ace queen on that river with the spade. Wow.
We did it.
We lost the minimum.
We
Realized our equity and lost.
All right. Rainbow board.
This feels like it's got some check raise in it. I don't want to check raise here. We haven't done check raise yet.
I
Alright.
wanna bet.
That's definitely a way to go, mixing sizing, but check is also pretty prevalent here. The low EV is going to say this might fit into the check raise bucket.
Oh,
No, he's not letting us
Oh.
check raise.
All right.
So I mean, so our bluffs would mimic our value that we trapped. I think sometimes so. Like we might have some B83s here.
Yeah, I do think if we bet here, we're gonna probably bet pretty polarized with this exact hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
the
He's
club,
gonna have,
the club turning means that he has no flush draw defense.
We can even bet 9, right?
I'm wondering if we
I think
want to
so.
put this in our double check raise, like our double check and raise bucket here.
Sure.
It has
Sure.
an overcard can make a new top pair. Right?
New pair, who dis?
I
Yeah.
like the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight. I
we
like
got
the double
the
check
straight
raise.
draw. Yeah.
I like 9 or check.
Yeah.
9 or check, both good. Mostly 9, but
Mostly
occasionally, if you check, I mean, this is telling you it's gonna want to check raise big.
Yeah.
You probably still will even mix call and
There we
raise
go.
versus,
Now this
Big.
is interesting because he bet big, which should drive down our check raise frequency, but this hand
Click
is so
it.
good. Well, it's not good, but it has so much equity. 16% to hit, so. We might not check raise against this sizing. It's a B75. We might not check raise now.
I think
So,
it's gonna be a
12,
call.
15.
so we have no flush draws that we can check raise, so we have to check raise from the straights. So we don't really have a lot of 6-7. We have lots of 9 jack, 7 jack, king 9.
yeah, use that
Is-
stuff.
But this one is the only one that has an overcard to the top pair. So I think it's gonna
Makes
want to
it good
pick
enough
this.
to call.
Ooh,
Yeah, I don't think we want to raise because this just realizes equity well compared to the gut shots with an over. So I think we want to raise our worst hands because when we get jammed on when we raise this, it's just a nightmare. And he sized up like someone else said. So we're gonna check raise less in general. But I'm wrong.
Yeah. So let's
You're
take a
right.
look.
Does
Yeah.
mix.
The EVs are the same, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
is
I
it
would check
choosing?
9 over this though.
So king jack, so jack nine pure,
Yeah, that
king
makes
jack
sense.
mixing.
And Jack
9-7.
nine's the nuts.
Wait,
Uh,
we have 9-7.
oh,
Nine
Not
jack
on
is
full, right?
already a straight. Yeah.
yeah,
Second,
9-7. Sorry,
9-7. Yeah.
king nine a little bit.
King nine. Yeah.
Pure with hearts and diamonds.
So yeah, it's 9-7's the bluff.
I
King
want to
jack
play the
mixes.
bomb turn line.
The bomb turn. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what were our options here?
We
So
were
you
mainly
want
betting 9.
bomb the turn.
He
Okay.
probably folds a lot.
So he doesn't really raise back very much. So he's gonna call a lot.
Yeah, and then like,
What do you want on the river?
right.
I assume a brick, right? Like a 2 of spades.
What do we do on a sure, we can start with a brick, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I think we
Ship it.
give up.
Oh no, we're not
We don't,
shipping.
we don't give up.
No, King Jack. Oh, is giving up.
Well, okay, we. Yeah.
But King
we
Jack
do give up.
suited doesn't.
So just a lot of punting here.
Is it like just king jack of clubs pure? Like what else is going for it?
Mostly just king jack and
Oh,
clubs.
it's the only
gives
one
up.
that gives up. All right, cool.
Yeah. So okay. So we get here, we give it the call. We get the
I was gonna
7.
ask about a 7.
Okay, well, we're gonna see.
Hold on. Yeah.
Ooh, blocking, blocking with what?
The bottom of our range.
King high.
Yeah.
Like we have no worse hands in this, so
Uh,
I think I'm betting, but I'm betting larger than 2.
yeah. We might be
So-
able to fold some ace highs, right?
Targeting
Ace highs.
or
is
some
air
ace
that's gonna
fives
bluff
or some
us.
tens.
Like,
Not for 2 bets. Not for 2 though.
like ace 4.
Ace jack. Yeah,
Ace
right there.
jack. Okay.
Did he fold?
Yeah, he folds to
Yeah.
2 big
Oh,
blinds.
okay.
I mean,
Exactly targeting ace jack.
I get
Alright.
a lot. I had a lot of people who are like, I want to see what you're bluffing me with, and just throw in 2 chips.
Guilty.
Yep, guilty.
Well, we
All
did call his big turn bet too, right? So
Yeah.
I literally had a guy call me with 10 high when I bet 10% pot on the river.
Nice.
Was it good?
No, I had top
Did
set.
you
Oh,
lose?
okay.
Did you add 9 high?
All right. So this paired 8 rainbow board. Our opponent's going to have a fair amount of 8s. We are starting to lack 8 coverage.
We do have a hand that needs some protection, so
We
there's
have
a
hand
little
that
bit of
needs
big
some
betting.
protection.
Yeah.
So it's going to be check or bet big here.
Yeah.
Really kind of unintuitive, right? A paired board that's good for our opponent.
So if we have 9 of clubs, 9 of spades, how does it change our betting frequency on the flop?
Take a look here.
Specifically, the suits that don't interact with the 8s. So when we're double blocking him from having an 8, are we betting more often or less often? Yeah, it's pretty indifferent.
Slightly more.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're betting larger more often.
Yeah, you're the club is the key, right? Like a little more with the club. So we get a 1/3 pot bet. Are we check raising these 9s?
Sure.
Yes,
I
I think
am.
I would
Yeah.
like to.
Okay.
Yes.
3x.
Even bigger? No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm like never calling here.
Okay. Pocket
Yeah.
three. Well, remember, good opponents will flat and will show up with pocket queens here. So he still has some overpairs. I shouldn't say good opponents, balanced opponents.
I'm surprised he didn't call there with threes.
I'm surprised too. But it's we have so many overpairs there.
Yeah, that's true. That is
It's
true.
gonna be hard for threes to realize their equity against an aggressive action.
Yeah, and hands they're beating, they're roughly flipping with.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even if we have two overs there, it's not good for them.
Best unpaired hand, no blocker to the flush draw. I am
Hey,
never
yeah.
betting this hand.
Yeah, best unpaired hand.
So how
Um,
frequently am I wrong?
I'm betting this like 30% of the time without the
Bet.
spade.
Okay.
Bet 80. Yeah.
How big, Nick?
Just small.
Tiny.
I'm not betting.
Yeah,
No spade,
12%,
no bet.
15%. No spade, no bet. I like it. I am a fish on the line. I will not fold to this sizing with ace king.
Yeah, pure call.
Yeah, he gave us the tiny, man.
Tiny click back here occasionally, but just call.
Gross.
Oh
Happy
boy, we're in
days.
trouble now.
Fish on the
do
line.
we want leads on this?
No.
So
I mean, we're gonna have more ace X, but we're gonna have less flushes.
yep.
Eh,
The
The
flush
flop, so
is
we're
the
gonna
driving
check it.
factor.
we'll have similar amount of flushes actually, because his calling range is gonna be similar to our opening range and his flush draws. So we probably have roughly the same amount of flushes, but
No,
we
he's
have more
button,
better
dude.
aces.
He has a lot of like 5-7 suited and stuff that we don't have.
At 40? I don't think so.
He doesn't have much of those.
He's gonna have.
He
We'll
has
take a look
some.
at the
He has
flushes here on
some.
the turn.
He has like 7, 8, 6, 7, 9, 8,
5,
10,
6.
9.
So when the flush is complete. So let's take a look. Suited. So he's got this block here.
No,
We've
same.
got this block here.
Yeah,
He
very
also
similar.
has king 5 and 5-4. Right, so he has a slightly bigger flush range than us here, but not significantly so. Part of
Well-
it is the 7 and the 6 also block the suited connectors that he has flushes with. That would be a better part of his range if the cards were higher. Right, so as it blocks out this portion of range, like if it was, king 9 of spades, it would block out both portions of this, and he would have more flushes down the suited connector line. Right? But he's blocked from 6-5, 7-6, and 8-7 here right now.
Yeah, I like bet small.
Okay. 4, 5. Definitely
often we
get spade.
I don't think we get to go 5 because the flush completes. I think it's completed equity to go small. I think checking's still viable too, but
No leads.
Yeah, I'm checking this a
I think
lot.
we gotta
Oh, wait,
probably
wait,
get.
I
wait.
think I'm checking.
Yeah, we checked,
well.
right?
Well, let's take a peek. Ready, pure check. Is there any leads in range? I mean, do we lead with ace with the king of spades, or is that a check raise?
no.
Just-
All right.
All right.
He might check raise. Never mind.
Oh. All right. Is this
One big blind.
We're gonna put it in. Lucky ticky.
Jack.
If
Yeah, I
Pure
mean,
check. I mean, we would never block any flushes. So. Oh,
it's giving it the dribbler.
3? Why are we?
Because if
betting
we check here, he bets
33%?
and then we fold, right? So
Okay, but why are you betting a third pot?
Oh boy.
oh,
he
yeah,
might just fold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And then we
Oh,
Raise. Raise call it. It's indifferent.
All in. All right. It's the highest EV. So rebuy.
And he folds an 8.
Folds
Oh,
the 8 of spades. Ooh, spicy. It's
I don't know
true.
if anyone's
Like,
in games folding that 8 of spades.
when you
had
get
somebody
check raised
earlier.
on the river, it's almost always value. I mean, like 8 of spades is a pretty marginal call here.
Who is going all in here on the?
Yeah, on the naked bluff, naked bootleg.
As
Take
played
it.
though, like what single spade hand do we have on the river?
Ace
King of
king with the ace
spades.
of spades.
Ace, yeah, I guess. But that's
Ace of
kind of
spades
the
was
only
the
one.
with the king of a spade.
King queen with the king of spades.
Yeah, we have the single king of spades here.
King queen with the queen of spades. Ace queen with the queen of spades.
King jack of spades. All right. Here we go. Marginal made hand, backdoor flush, backdoor straight. Board that is good for us. Are we leading? If so, how frequently?
Is this board good for us? I think it's better for the button, isn't it?
So Jack 9 and Jack 10 are going to connect where he's going to have the bottom end of the straight draw, and we're going to have the top end of the straight draw a little more.
Okay.
Like we're not going to have the bottom end of the straight draw very often. So when the 10 comes, sometimes he's going to have the top, sometimes we're going to have the top, and sometimes we're going to have the top and he's going to have the bottom. Right? So that's kind of the idea between these closely connected boards at the bottom of our opening range.
Okay. I think we can do anything with this hand. I think we can check, we can bet small, or we could bet large.
I think it's
It's all three.
betting tiny 20% of the time.
All right.
30% check, 40% small, 40% big. Wait. Bad maths. Never mind.
Yeah. 40% check is excellent, and 60% bet a variety of size, a shotgun's worth of size. All right. We get the bet, and he gives us a call. We do not pick up equity. Do we barrel? 3's a brick for him as well, though.
We rolled a 24. Is 24 high aggressive or low aggressive?
Kind of unsure.
Roger. I think it's high aggressive, if I remember right.
Okay.
So if that's the case,
High aggressive, 3. Double dribbler. Right? Just pushing our range advantage with the overpairs here.
check fold.
Flush, complete, check, fold. Triple dribble a little. But, oh, 2x pot. Well, I don't think we're bluff catching with a 9, are we?
He's bluffing.
Yeah, he's gonna have some.
Is it me on the button?
He's
You
gonna
won't
have some
call.
single
No
spades
balls.
here.
Like, it's just a fold.
This is
But-
king 10 with the king of spades all day.
Yeah.
This
Ace
is
10 with the ace of a spade.
We lose to that. We lose to both those. Oh no, we have a 9.
Ace 5 with the ace of a spade. Yeah. King
king
queen.
queen with the king of spades. Yeah, called with
Call
it.
it.
Called with
Call it.
Yep. Nick's gonna make that call at the WSOP next year.
Yeah.
All right. 10-9 with a flush draw. Pocket kings with the king of spades.
Looks like a fun check raise.
I'm check raising this combo all day long, 100% of the time. I don't
Okay.
think Solver's doing that, but that's what I'm doing.
Unblocking the
Why don't you
straight,
think so?
the super straight connection. Is anyone going 9?
I think that Solver's going to check like 35% of the time.
Okay.
And
Is anyone
betting
going
mostly.
83?
I'm probably
Sometimes I
betting
go
half pot
83.
mostly.
I think with a double blocker, it's going to push it to a smaller sizing with this hand.
Okay. Blocking
30.
too many continues.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 33%.
I was
Um,
thinking whatever the
55%.
biggest size we're allowed to go is, it's gonna be that size.
Mixes,
It's
but very
everything.
heavy on the big sizing here.
Yeah, 83.
Well, the button should have a lot of continues too on this board,
Yeah, that's true.
Tons.
right? He's gonna have lots of tens, he's gonna have nines.
Yeah.
He's gonna have some flush draws. He's gonna
That's
have
why-
like queen, jack.
That's why I check. I find people in game are betting those too often. They don't check them enough. So I'm checking and just check raising.
Okay. Oh, the disrespectful size.
Fine.
55 or 83 here.
Savage.
Yeah,
Click it.
Hungry hippo. Let's go. Calls. So
7-8 got
7-8
there, right there.
completes.
What are you eyeing?
Yeah, 7-8's definitely something that's gonna be in his range here. Yeah, he's gonna have
Just
some
smile
two
and
pairs.
bet 14.
Smile,
Ship it. I'm shipping
14
it.
or all in.
wouldn't 14 just make you pot committed, so you'd have to call anything, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah, but
think
I think it's either check or shove at this SPR.
SPR is
Or,
one.
I think
Let
it's
him
actually
call wider when you bet
tiny
14.
bet, B20.
It's
Or,
gonna
or shove.
it's gonna check
No,
some,
don't
but mostly
shove.
bet 14, I think. No shoves.
14.
Oh, wait.
ship it. Ship.
The
14,
SPR kind of
14.
makes us
But-
pot committed if we B14.
I know, Larry, but it gives him a better price. It allows
But-
him to, forces him to defend wider.
What do you do with
Exactly.
Jack Queen of clubs?
I'm
the
shipping
flop.
that too.
Queen of clubs.
You bet the flop.
What about Jack Queen off with a spade?
Bet 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
I thought it would have checks too. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I guess we can deny some equity. If he does jam, we've got an easy call.
Yeah.
Right.
So at stack to pot ratio, I mean, if he has the straight, he's getting all our chips. We're never folding pocket kings. So we just give him a
Okay,
price he
question.
can continue with. Yep.
We bet 14, he goes all in, we fold.
No,
Never.
No, you snap.
we're calling. We
So
snap
why
call.
are we not going all in?
Because if we go all in, he doesn't call with enough hands to get us value. We want to get value here. He's a fish on the line. He has like
Tons of tens. It's got
he has
some nines.
tons of stuff that's going to be able to call this size of bet. And like, it's kind of the idea of like boiling a frog. If you turn the temperature up slowly enough, you can completely boil the frog. But if you throw a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out.
So let's see what he calls with versus 14 and what he folds.
Yeah,
versus jam.
Sure.
yeah,
So, like,
exactly.
what is Ace Queen of Spades doing?
What the Queen Jack of a spade is like,
All right.
or Queen
We do
Jack
have
with
some
just
jams,
Queen
one
Jack
by the
is
way.
no
spade.
jam, but
So when we bet 14, let's take a look at his calling range.
As Louis says, you're just giving him the gun, right? He'll jam a lot himself. It's fine.
Still here with straights and sets and two pair that beat us. The two pair are going to put us back in, go all in. The sets are going to keep us on the line. The straight's going to keep us on the line. But he still calls with queens here. Just calls with all the top pairs. And that's probably the biggest thing. Clicks it back with some of them. Second
bit
pair,
nines.
he defends. He defends a lot of nines here still. Right? Some of them are combo draws. And then,
Flush,
yeah, he's just, when you bet this price, he never folds a flush draw. Open-ended, he calls a lot. Right? Gut shot, he's still calling here at some frequency. So when we bet bigger,
We block all his outs too.
yeah, he calls the flush draw, calls the combo draw. We lose the straight draws from his hand. So we lose the weakest draws that we can still get value from.
You're
And
losing top pairs. You lost Ace King. You're losing nines.
yeah, now he doesn't call with a 9.
King 10's folding a lot. Jack 10's folding a lot.
Yeah. So we lose some draws and we lose second pair really that we get value from, and like those draws are pretty thin. Right? Because they're touch and gut shot a lot. So and he calls and GG.
All
Probably
in.
one of the worst cards in the deck.
That's what we got from not going all in.
Well, oh, wow, okay.
Nah, we win, it's fine.
No way. No way.
Easy
Oh,
game.
There is no way you're gonna win.
yeah, new top
We
pair,
win,
take
bro,
all the money.
come on.
King's good.
Yeah.
I guess it's really nice for it to be the queen of spades on the river, because it eliminates all those queen X of spades. Like queen jack spades, king queen of spades, so.
Yep.
And we have, yeah. So I mean, like, it's not a great river card, but it could be a lot worse.
Ooh. Anyone want to check raise this hand?
Yeah.
I sort of just want to bet.
Yeah, I was gonna say disrespectful size and induce a little
I
raise.
think it's too good. Got like 75% equity. I think you want to keep him in.
Yeah, like I'm this is an interesting spot because this is a spot that I would check 100% and I would check raise this hand 100%. So
He's
I
gonna
know I'm
have a
gonna
lot,
check
lot of
raise.
one spade hands that he's gonna continue with. Right,
Yeah.
raise. But he
I
might
am
might
surprised there
not
was-
bet them. Like if he's got like a 10 of spades, a jack of spades, he might not bet it.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's this much betting. Like
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not checking or I'm not betting this frequently on this board.
Well, like what of our range do we bet 1.4?
But a bit of everything. Right?
Right.
There's no combo that doesn't bet 1.4 here.
Exactly. So with his range, he may choose to play back at us, or
Okay.
or flat looking to raise some turns. Like it's just, I don't know. It's the whole when you flop a set, you want to get money in the pot, right?
Sure. But I think the best way to do it is to check raise. But
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a couple ways to accomplish that. Also, I mean, you're not super deep. I mean, it's not that hard to get 40 bigs in by the river, even out of position.
okay. We'll take the other line since I am always in this line. And give it the lead. We get called. All right, so now what's our strategy going to be?
Probably just
B60.
bet again.
Yeah,
I
like
like
our
a-
hand's getting a little more vulnerable. 6-8 got there, but and like 3-6 got there, but these those aren't too likely. But so maybe bet third.
I think you're thinking geometric here. I mean, you're not going to ever really fold, I think, here. So it's like
Probably
5 or 8. I mean, you
yeah,
want to
that's-
size to get it all in by river.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I
You're
like
gonna have
8
to
here.
put it 8 to get it all in by the river.
5, 10.
But I mean,
Yeah, I think 8 is probably the right size.
I just don't like that 7
I
at
mean,
all.
Yeah.
8's too small to get it all in by the river still, but our hand's
Oh.
not good enough to overbet.
Yeah.
We're checking a ton here.
A lot of checking and then, yeah, equally split among all
Yeah.
4.
I will say we chose the lowest EV option.
okay.
Not
Oh,
when
we
it,
knew it was
not when we vote
coming.
up.
Check.
Jack.
I mean, it's interesting to check, yeah.
We have the Uber nuts. Or bet tiny.
Okay.
Oh, it just rips.
It just rips.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not like a pure thing, right? Like checking exists.
So we probably have some single ace and single king of spades that take this line that are gonna bluff like this. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big time.
right. So we are gonna have some triple barrels that get there. But
That
now
felt like-
because
But he'll have some of that too that wants to bluff now, maybe.
Wow, he has
Somehow
one.
he has
yeah.
a 9.
How does he have a 9?
What a cheater.
Does he call us if we go all in there? Probably not, right? So we'd have to
Ooh,
probably
I
bet
don't
small.
know.
I think
Well,
he
we-
has to.
we have a lot of bricked ace and
Tough
king of
spot for
spades.
him.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That is still pretty hero call.
Face
But
off
he-
range.
Buffer.
I don't know if he can fold top pair.
He'll have
He's
tens of the
not-
spade, jacks of the spade. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mixing.
It picks hearts
Oh, it
because
mixes,
there's a
okay.
heart there.
And he's got lots of flushes too, right? Lots of slow played flushes. Who's slow playing those?
Ace high flush, king high flush, 97, 76 of flush, 65 of flush. Yeah, he's got lots of stuff. So he just has lots of stuff he can still call us with here.
Let's be greedy.
All right, we'll do one more. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Paired ace board. Best ace. No flush interaction.
Bet tiny.
Yeah, I'm thinking similar to the last hand.
Okay.
Bet tiny to let him continue.
Okay.
I almost want to check.
Yeah. Anyone?
Like we've got it so locked up here that we're gonna have to hope that he starts bluffing on the turn.
Check with
Tiny.
the spade.
I
Or
feel
bet
like
with
we're
the
just,
spade,
our
check
hand
with
turns, like when we check raise a turn or put check or get money in all of a sudden and get excited on the turn that our hands just so face up. So, but betting this tiny size to Pete's point in the last hand keeps our range really wide.
Yep. Sure.
And his.
Yeah, I mean, I think often when you
Yes.
have so much equity, you have a lot of options that solver gives you.
Yeah.
So we give it the single dribbler. Now on the last one, we polarize turn. Is this a hand we're going to polarize turn to try and get it all in on the river as well?
We
Nah,
still have a lot of options probably, right?
Could you make more of an argument now for check to induce a bet?
I
This
like
is-
3.
I
So
think
if
this
he
is
has, if he has pocket eights, do you think we're going to get him to bet by checking?
No, but with the monotone board in the previous example,
Hmm.
like it just feels like the opponent had more stabs at it, but now I'm
I
not
like
sure. the
5
point of trying to make-
actually.
Yeah.
I think
this
I
is
like
where
5.
poker is easy.
All right. So Daddy wants this. We got some votes for check.
I go 3.
3.
Probably polarize here, just try to.
Show me every sizing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I thought
solver
that's
should give
what
us
I-
I
anything.
sort of
we
want to bet big here.
I'm
I'm out
going
here on the
5
island.
or 8. I'm between these two. A little bit of checking, like 15% checking.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
resizing.
resizing. There you go. Some
Show me everything.
It likes
Yeah.
trapping the most, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's 37% check, 60, 63% bet. Right? So it's betting a lot, but checking is definitely a very viable option here. But I mean, this is going to get us pretty close to being able to put in a pretty big bet on the river.
Pick the lowest EV again.
Oh yeah. 17 or 12.
Give-
Uh, 17, we hope
jams?
you guys ace check.
Jam.
I'm probably just jamming here.
I'm
I'm all
thinking,
in.
oh man, all in might be too much.
So if we
On the-
chose 8
I want
on
some
the
value.
turn, we could have jammed pretty clean. This is a bit of an overbets.
But
12
we're
or
getting called by
7.
all aces.
I just wanna go
Yeah.
12.
But we're getting, yeah.
No, I
it-
don't.
it-
What do I wanna do? I can't decide.
I'm going for
We're
the
losing to ace 4, ace queen,
And ace 9.
and pocket nines.
Yeah.
But
That'll
what is,
Ooh,
what is he,
Well-
what worse is he's not calling with us with kings,
Yeah.
he
It's just
might
too
call us with a
much.
queen if we bet smaller.
Right, yeah.
How does
Might
it get
call
here
us
with the
with
queen, though?
10-9.
Called us with a 9.
9.
What a station, bro.
Yeah, queen 9, 10, 9.
Send me these
Somebody tag
players.
this guy. This is crazy.
This is out of line to the max.
Look at this sneaky fish.
Well, it's less likely we have an ace, right, with 2 on the board. Right,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, okay.
but we could still be barreling maybe with
Queen.
We could have rivered a
king,
queen.
queen.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the study session, everyone. We'll be back next week where we're going to look at a closer range analysis when we take the hijack against the button.
Thanks a lot, Peter. That was great, man.
Thank you.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks.
Peter. It's a really good
Yeah.
session.
Thanks.